Alright, friends, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds until I come on screen and steal your girlfriend. Nice to meet you. The name is Chrissy Woo! You think I'm wearing these glasses to be Jimmy Woo, a character that didn't even show up this damn episode? I'm wearing them to hide my tears. What the fuck with this episode? Wandavision episode 8 has landed online, guys. Holy crap. The payoffs are starting to come full circle here for Wandavision. We got so many answers, and not only that, we got basically a life backstory for Wanda herself. What I'm going to be doing here for you guys is giving you my Wandavision 8 breakdown, pointing out Easter eggs you might have missed, explaining further what this means for the MCU. But not only that, talking about the Wandavision end credit / post-credit scene that, oh my, fan theories are becoming real, y'all. Alright then, so let's just go ahead and start off here. So the episode opens up with a little backstory to Agatha Harkness and how herself became a powerful witch. We all figured New Jersey was going to play a vital part into Westview and WandaVision, and everyone assumed it was because of the Salem witch trials that took place around this area, and now we know that is where Agatha Harkness comes into play. She was a witch during the Salem witch trials, a witch who was already betraying her coven from the beginning. Not only that, absorbing the energy of all her fellow witches, becoming the last survivor. I think it was fascinating of an episode to open up this way and to give us a better view into her, and it also kind of lets me know it doesn't seem like she has a master. She seems to be her own master, defeating theories further that Mephisto just might not actually be here. From there, we are taken back to the basement where we last left Wanda and Agnes, and this is stuff I'm absolutely loving that they're doing in the MCU, because we've always known Wanda to be a witch, but she has never been a witch in the same way Doctor Strange, in following the magic, understanding that world. Now with episode 8, they finally put context into Wanda's powers. Not only that, that witches actually exist out there, and Wanda isn't the only one. To go along with that, there's certain hexes, there's certain spells, like Wanda getting trapped in a protection spell. One symbol in particular resembling the House of M logo that we see on the comics. When you really think about how powerful Wanda is and everything that they showed off of her abilities in this episode, it makes a lot of sense why by the end she needs to go to Doctor Strange and be like, look, turns out I'm this ultimate witch, you're the Sorcerer Supreme, train me, take me under your wing, help me figure out my powers and how to better use them. And I wouldn't be surprised if Doctor Strange wants nothing to do with this woman. We'll see. But during this conversation, we get a revelation right away of Pietro Maximoff, who we find out is confirmed to be fake Pietro, or Fietro, as Agatha likes to call him. Even dropping in the little detail that it wasn't her in disguise or anyone in disguise. It was just more of a vessel being used for her eyes and ears, still opening up the possibility that this could actually be Peter Maximoff from the Fox universe that was pulled into WandaVision. I was starting to have my doubts because this version of Quicksilver didn't have any of his old memories. His powers looked very different from the way they did in his movies, but all the explanations here that Wanda is manipulating reality, changing things to make it look the way she wants, it would make sense now if they're able to pull out fake Pietro out of that trance and not be saying things like Snooper's gonna snoop. He'll most likely remember where he comes from, and that is the Fox universe. So that is awesome right there. Just wish we could have seen him in this episode, but I'm pretty sure he's going to show up in the next one, okay? It's the finale. Debunking another theory we had right here. We get to look at Wanda's parents right here, her mom and pop, and they are not the same actors that we have been seeing in the commercials, which again just leads us to wonder, who the hell are these people in the commercials? There's no way they're gonna make these people out to be Magneto and Wanda and Pietro's mom right there. These people have to have some sort of significance in why they were the ones constantly showing up in these commercials. We really thought it was Wanda's parents, but that did not turn out to be the case. When Wanda's father comes home, he opens up the briefcase revealing all these other sitcoms, and basically you see here the inspiration for WandaVision, Malcolm in the Middle, Dick Van Dyke Show. That is before we get the death of her parents that was explained in Age of Ultron. Now we get to fully see that here, and where the representation of the toaster commercial comes from is that beeping missile that never went off that Pietro and Wanda stared at for 2 days thinking they were about to die. But that wasn't even the biggest revelation. The real revelation was Wanda had her powers the entire time since she was a kid. This is kind of freaking huge because we all assumed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Wanda and Pietro received their powers through the Infinity Stone that Loki had in the beginning, the Mind Stone. But here, realizing Wanda was born a witch all along, and all that Infinity Stone did is enhance her powers and make her become what we now know by the end of this episode is the Scarlet Witch she was destined to be. I got absolute chills in that little sequence where you get to see a silhouette of Scarlet Witch come to Wanda and become one with her. I damn nearly fell on the floor so fast in the same way Wanda did. Also to mention, this section of the episode was the inspiration of the second commercial on the watch that was named Strucker after the man who experimented on them. Even in this same sequence, we also get more revelations that multiple people were tried out for this experiment and a lot of them ended up dead, except for Wanda and Pietro. Now, Wanda, we have her explanation. She always had her powers. In a way, you could already call her a mutant, but she was more of a witch. They didn't fully explain that Pietro is a warlock or anything like that. He just might have been born a mutant, same as her sister, and this is going to be the thing that's going to help us introduce the X-Men into the MCU. By the end of this, there has to be some sort of giant explosion that takes over the entire Earth, and anybody who has this built-in gene, same as Wanda, which is usually referred to as the X gene, is going to unlock their hidden abilities that is already within them and turn them into mutants. It's really crazy how the live-action Marvel Cinematic Universe is becoming more and more like a comic book where they're retconning origins, they're manipulating things, changing timelines, trying to introduce stuff by really stretching things, but it's working so well in the context and everything that they've set up. From there, we move on to the events after Age of Ultron, where Wanda has already lost her brother. She's fully an Avenger now, but she is completely alone in the world until Vision steps into her room, quite literally. I really like how in this sequence right here, we not only get a little bit of the taste of the first flirtiness between Wanda and Vision and the relationship they'll eventually start, but we also get why Wanda is just so in love with these sitcoms in the same way we are, just watching them over and over. And that is because even in that specific episode where Hal, played by Bryan Cranston, that character isn't actually hurt because it isn't that type of show. As if it were Breaking Bad, another Bryan Cranston show, if somebody had a roof fall on them, they would for sure be dead because that would be that kind of show. Again, leaning to Wanda wanting to live this fantasy sitcom life because in those shows, no one really gets hurt. It's always for fun and laughs and everyone ends up happily forever after. From here, we're really starting to see more pieces of the puzzle and why Wanda has chosen specific things, and even Agnes herself is starting to have her mind open to why Wanda is doing the things she does, but still, it left the question, how did she bring Vision back to life? And we finally get to see her first-person view of her going into the sword facilities and after the Vision's body. And now we know, oh, Hayward is completely dead in my opinion, okay? I was trying to be the one guy to stick up for Hayward and be like, well, maybe he's not all that bad. Screw Hayward, y'all. Y'all told me and I should have listened. I'm sorry. Y'all's always right. But Hayward purposely manipulated the security footage that we got to see a couple episodes back where he showed the trio, Monica, Darcy, and Jimmy Woo, of Wanda breaking into the sword facility and essentially stealing Vision's body, only for us to find out she never stole his body, was allowed inside, was allowed to see Vision, and only had a brief moment of breaking character. In this sequence, I also love where you see the distinction of how Wanda feels about Vision as opposed to Hayward, where he just continues to call him a material object, put a dollar figure to how much Vision is worth, and Wanda's like, this is a person to me. It's not a robot. It's not a cyborg. This is a living person that is now dead. Pair that up with the opposite line that we got to have in Avengers Infinity War, where Wanda and Vision got to tell each other, I just feel you, and now she says here, I can't feel you. If we didn't think that was heartbreaking enough, we also get to see how Wanda ended up in Westview. Wanda has a mail-in letter in her car seat that I also want to mention. Her car is her colors coming to life. I love the fact if Wanda is out there driving, she's driving a car that resembles her colors. But we see her be taken to Westview, and I'm over here like, okay, we're going to find out this witness protection guy. We're going to see the real secrets of Westview and everything that happened, and we get to see some of the characters there, like the debunking of the mailman being a bad guy, he was just a pizza delivery man, along with Vision's boss's wife there. Even one of the most funny characters there, although not next to Dottie, so that is kind of curious. I didn't see Dottie all throughout Westview before Wanda changed things. She could still be a key player. But right here is where the real men cried and shed a tear, because Wanda pulls out the letter to find out why she chose this specific place, and we come to see it was a gift from Vision where he wrote to grow old in. Signed V. Vision. Vision freaking bought Wanda a house, and they were supposed to live in it together and grow old. And that didn't happen because he died. Oh my God, man. That is heartbreaking. That is so sad right there. And it's the final straw that broke Wanda and made her grow crazy in the same way we see in the comics where she loses her mind and alters reality. This was done so perfectly in my opinion, because Wanda has been one of the characters to lose so much in the MCU. To see the ultimate transformation of Westview being done was also really cool. But it did beg the question why she was able to manifest Vision all on her own without the need of his body there. They established a couple episodes ago that once something enters the barrier, Wanda manipulates its matter and turns it to whatever she desires, specifically whatever sitcom time period this thing is. Since Vision body isn't there, he just kind of appears out of thin air. My best theory to why this happens is because since we see that Wanda's powers are sort of oversourced from an Infinity Stone, the same Infinity Stone that would eventually bring Vision to life, it's the explanation why Wanda can replicate another Vision coming to life. Now us finally knowing most of the answers involving Westview and what is going on here, we then see Wanda step outside of the protected spell barrier, where then again she's able to use her powers, trying to protect her children, Billy and Tommy, from Agatha, because at this point Agatha knows exactly who Wanda is, and it's kind of terrifying to her. You are this unicorn witch that we thought never existed, known as the Scarlet Witch. They finally went ahead and gave Wanda her given name from the comics, the Scarlet Witch. I thought for a second that we were just going to constantly be addressing her as Wanda, but it's kind of cool that they finally put a name to it and give her a reason to be called the Scarlet Witch. But along with that, Agnes also mentions right here is that your powers are called chaos magic. This is something that has already been mentioned in the Marvel comics right here. Reading a quick summary of it, chaos magic is the name of a magic so powerful that it was thought to be non-existent by even the Sorcerer Supreme himself. The magic can manipulate, warp, and reconstruct the fabric of existence and reality to the user's very whims and bring about total destruction to the cosmos. Once again, just showing how OP Wanda is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how powerful she has become. But that mention right there is that even the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, would not be a match for Wanda, is a good reason for Agnes to want to hold hostage her children that are still up in the air, whether they're real or a figment of Wanda's imagination created by Agnes. That was a great way to pull up the ending of the episode and lead us into what will be the finale. But that isn't until we get to the end credit / post-credit scene of this episode. I was hoping it was an appearance of Quicksilver or maybe something else, but what we got was even better. Is what Hayward was trying to do all along. Now us knowing that he has Vision's body, is that he was trying to bring him back to life and not really disassemble him, but do everything they can to bring Vision anew. And the ultimate thing that brings Vision back to life is Wanda's powers herself, which again is derived from the Infinity Stone that brought Vision to life. So in a weird way, it is like putting the Infinity Stone back in Vision's head, and we get spectral Vision from the comics. This white classic suit is directly pulled from the comics after Vision is brought back to life. Now the significance to this look for the Vision just kind of means that Vision in this form, in this white colored suit, is more of a robot than he is a human. At least in the comics, he is emotionless. He is just straight up powerful, but he has no heart, as we've known the Vision to have before. Even looking at the way he comes to life towards the end of this episode, it looks demonic as hell, and that does not seem to be the good old Vision we know and love. Couple of theories though on what this possibly means. One, the one we've been saying for the longest. Ultron. That right there is Ultron back to life. You damn screwed up, Hayward, and you brought one of the ultimate villains back to life. We had the mention of the Nexus that we did all believe to be the center point of the multiverse that would be introducing us to all these other characters from different universes, but people also noticed that the Nexus was something already mentioned in Avengers Age of Ultron, and that Nexus was the place that Jarvis was hiding his AI to then eventually be put into Vision. Could Ultron be doing the same thing and hiding his conscience in the Nexus until a body that he can inhabit is made available, and that is the Vision's body that now has no conscience in it because it will be emotionless. The other thing here, this is also our good explanation how Vision can be brought back to life and not end up dead in the MCU. I think, of course, that this sentient weapon will be fighting Wanda, and it'll be a little bit more heartbreaking. It'll be a thing that Wanda has to face. But since we see that the mind of Vision has been made, there should be a way to fuse that version of Vision with this physical body, allowing him to finally step out of the barrier without having to rip apart, because his mind only exists inside Westview. If they find a way to put Vision's mind inside that body, it would not only give it color, it would bring life back to Vision. Man, it's gonna be so sad with this final episode. I really did like this one. Might have been one of my most favorite ones, and it's a good episode to show people if they want to know the origin story of Wanda in the MCU. How did you guys feel about Wandavision episode 8? Did you like everything that they revealed here? Were there any Easter eggs or things that I missed that you want to go ahead and point out down below? Be sure to like and subscribe, but follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris, or actually 3C. Woo! Take care.